Welcome back to Uprising. I'm Sonali Kohatkar. Los Angeles police shut down a protest camp set up in front of police headquarters in downtown LA earlier this week, arresting two women who were trying to deliver a letter to Chief Charlie Beck. The protest, part of the Black Lives Matter campaign, was in response to the release of a new autopsy of Ezell Ford, a young black man who had been fatally gunned down by police earlier last year. Activists had set up a camp with tents and even a kitchen for 7 days. When it was dismantled, they called it Occupy LAPD. The effort in LA reflects a growing and sustained movement nationwide that refuses to let up on the issue of police violence against African Americans. And joining me in studio today to talk about it is Melina, Abdulla, professor and chair of the Department of Pan-African Studies at Cal State LA and an organizer with Black Lives Matter LA. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sonali.
Thanks so much for joining us. Well, first, before we get to what the camp was about, what it was like, tell us about what it was about the autopsy of Ezell Ford that enraged activists. This was a killing that had taken place in August, not long after Mike Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri. But what did the results from that report tell us about the encounter in August?
Right. So Ezell Ford was killed by two Los Angeles Police Department officers, Charlton Wampler and Antonio Villegas. The autopsy report shows that the fatal gunshot wound was to the back at probably point-blank range because there was a muzzle imprint, which means that the actual tip of the gun is imprinted into Ezell Ford's back. And so what happened for us seeing that autopsy report, we saw it as an execution of another black man at the hands of those who were supposed to protect and serve our community.
So what was the official story that the LAPD put out, and how do they justify these results?
So there's some kind of muddled story about there was a struggle over a gun, and somebody reached around someone else and shot him in the back. But all of the witness accounts say that there was no struggle. Ezell Ford had some mental health challenges, and that was actually shouted to the police officers by the bystanders. He has mental health issues, and the police officers continued. He really they have no reason to stop him in the first place. So this is the way that our communities are constantly harassed. For me and for those of us who were really kind of pushing for radical action after the autopsy report was released, it comes from a place of kind of connecting not just with a movement but also with the life of Ezell Ford and understanding that Tritobia Ford, his mother, as a black mother, her pain must be just excruciating. And this was a person, this was her son, and he was executed. That's what the autopsy report shows me.